everyone, and welcome to The Insider, the ongoing video series that keeps you up to date on all things IPW. I am the voice of IPW, J-Rod. Road to Glory served as the calm before the storm as the journey to War on the Shore officially begins. 2 weeks ago, Terry Van Avery and Josh Raymond finally spoke, and Van Avery challenged Raymond to a match at War on the Shore. Raymond asked for time to consider it. Van Avery granted the time, but Raymond still hasn't answered. So Van Avery finally demanded an answer right here, right now. But instead of Josh Raymond coming through the curtain, the gift, DR Nolans, came out instead. The 21-year-old Canadian prodigy told Terry that instead of worrying about Josh Raymond, he should be worried about the Fate of 8 tournament ahead of him, in which Dior plans to win. The tense face-off was interrupted by long-standing #1 contender Chad Alpha, who badly wants a chance to face IPW champion Jamal King again. Then Chad Alpha was interrupted by LaDon Sanders. Sanders, an underdog in the tournament, said none of them should be overlooking him as he believes he is overdue for a shot at Jamal King's title. Chad Alpha suggested a preview of the tournament, a 4-way match between Alpha, Sanders, Van Avery, and Nolans in our main event. All 4 parties agreed, and before they made their way back, Dior kicked Alpha in the groin. This definitely would not be a friendly exhibition. Dragon Jones scored the upset of the year when he defeated the ghost of his past, Invictus, at Shootout. Jones took on hardcore specialist Casey Tempest. This was a good match between 2 fan favorites, which was won by Casey Tempest. But once again, as Jones was making his way to the back, Invictus blindsided him. It appears that putting Invictus down will not be enough. Jones will have to put Invictus out. CJ Cole was offered a spot on the Golden Initiative project in April. Cole has had a long time to decide. Cole had finally made his decision. After seeing Jeremiah Goldmain leave Anderson Knight out to drive for Big Jorge, then seeing Jeremiah Goldmain slap Big Jorge, CJ Cole said he wanted no part of the GIP. And CJ Cole knows that he won't be alone because he knows the fans have his back. Josh Raymond would interrupt, calling CJ Cole gullible and corny, and warned Cole that the fans will betray Cole just as they did Raymond. The fans' chants were almost drowning out Raymond, as the only thing they wanted to hear from him was an answer to Terry Van Avery's challenge. Raymond never answered, but did challenge CJ Cole to a match. The fans retreated to a back-and-forth battle between 2 quick athletes. Josh Raymond hung CJ Cole in a tree of woe, and as the referee was distracted trying to free Cole in the corner, Terry Van Avery snuck up on Josh Raymond with a squirt gun and absolutely drenched Raymond. When CJ Cole came to, he hit that beautiful flying DDT on Raymond for the biggest win of his IPW career. In the past, when Terry Van Avery interfered in Josh Raymond's matches, Josh tried to whine and gaslight the fans into feeling sorry for him. But this time, Josh Raymond was fucking pissed. In our third bout of the evening, roughneck Canadian Durag put on for his hood against proud U.S. Patriot The Spider, as Durag planted a big boot across Spider's head and gave a big F-U to the fans on his way out. A bizarre individual named Jamie Eternal challenged interim IPW Michiana champion Hype Jimmy Shalwin to a match, claiming to be a distant foe from Shalwin's past. Shalwin informed us all that many years ago, Eternal wore a mask, and when Shalwin beat him back then, Shalwin was awarded Eternal's mask. Jamie Eternal was hoping for revenge, but it wouldn't come at Road to Glory, as Shalwin hit the hype bomb to retain the title. Thunder Kitty LaFleur won the women's title with a win over Stella Bujo and Lil Missy at Libertad back in May. Since then, Kitty was able to beat Stella in a one-on-one match afterwards, and she would have to do the same thing against Missy. A menacing rear naked choke would grant LaFleur that victory. What could be next for Thunder Kitty LaFleur? We will find out as she defends the women's championship this weekend at Fate of 8. At May Day, Big Jorge destroyed the arm of DeYuper's Remnar Gunlock, putting Remnar out of action for 6 to 8 months. Fellow Youper Jay Lee has called out Big Jorge, wanting a chance to get some payback for his buddy. Jay Lee would get exactly that in a huge feel-good moment for IPW when he hit Big Jorge with the crossbow for a sensational victory. After the match, Big Jorge asked for a chance to speak to the fans. Jorge addressed Jeremiah Goldmain. Last weekend at Shootout, Jeremiah Goldmain abused Big Jorge, treated him like garbage, and even slapped the shit out of him. Big Jorge said there was no chance in hell he would remain under Goldmain's thumb any longer and decided to leave the Golden Initiative project. Furthermore, Big Jorge offered his aid to former GIP member Anderson Knight, saying he would be in Knight's corner to make sure that nobody from the GIP would interfere. Anderson Knight has accepted Jorge's offer, and Big Jorge will do everything in his power to keep Goldmane and his remaining cronies from meddling in Anderson Knight's business at Fate of 8. We reached our main event, a highlight-filled four-way dance with huge implications, featuring Fate of 8 qualifiers, LaDon Sanders, Chad Alpha, Terry Van Avery, and DR Nollins. These guys fought all over wax wings in a thriller that had fans chanting, "This is awesome," up until Terry Van Avery stood tall after blasting all three men with super kicks. After tuning up the band and nailing DR Nollins with one more, Van Avery froze in place. Slowly walking to ringside was Josh Raymond. Josh Raymond had the fire in his eyes, and the fans were roaring in anticipation as we knew it was finally about to go down. After nearly a full year of anticipation, Josh Raymond and Terry Van Avery met in the middle of the ring and started swinging for the fences. The crowd erupted as these two fought their way away from ringside. Back in the ring, Chad Alpha hit LaDon Sanders with a violent jackhammer that would surely seal the deal. But in an act of sheer brilliance, DR Nollins tossed Chad Alpha from the ring and pinned LaDon Sanders for a massive upset victory to garner huge momentum going into the Fate of 8 tournament. That concludes this edition of The Insider. Join us Saturday at Patterson Ice Center in Grand Rapids, Michigan, when 8 men compete for the chance to headline War on the Shore 4 as IPW presents the toughest tournament in pro wrestling, Fate of 8.